Hello and welcome to Aftersound Review, and this is my review for LZ-A7. Maybe not a lot of you have ever heard this kind of brand before because yes, it's not a really well-known brand, but trust me, when I try this, I'm quite shocked because it's not really well-known, but it has a really unique configuration using one dynamic driver, 4 bands and mature, and also 2 piezoelectric driver. And they have 10 different tunings. Yes, you not misheard me. They have 10 different tunings, which is quite nice to have such a choice for your IMs. Okay, just like usual, I will review them from the build, fit, frequency response, sound, and comparison. For the build quality of this IM, I feel that they are really feels like a strong IM in my hand. They feel really durable thanks to its full metal body, and also the nozzle itself also looking really good. It's all metal here, and also they are using MMCX connectors, and the cable, it's 8 strand and feels really flexible. So yeah, it's a really good build quality, and I have to say that they have 10 tunings here that you can adjust with 2 ways. First, there's a switch around here that you can switch using this SIM card ejector. You can choose the back one is pop and the front one is monitor, and also you can change the nozzle. How to change it? It's really easy. Just unscrew it counterclockwise, and then you may fill it with another filter here. For example, I choose the gold one. Just unscrew it again, and that's it. That's really simple. It's really simple, and it's not a gimmick. You can see later in the frequency response that it changed a lot in the frequency response when you change the filter. So yeah, with the filter on total 5 type of tunings, plus for each filter you can also adjust monitor version or the pop version. You get 10 tunings in total, which is nice. For the ergonomics of this IM is actually very remind me of the Shure 846. If you have Shure 215, this is really similar to that but a little bit bulky, so it really reminds me of the Shure 846. You can see that it fits my ears perfectly, and it's really stable, so even when I'm using them to walk or to jogging a bit, it doesn't become a problem. It's just a really good fit. Okay, the frequency response of this LZ-A7 is quite unique because it has 10 tunings, and I need to show you one by one. And for me, the most balanced of all is the black monitor, and this is the frequency response of the black monitor. Maybe some of you might consider this as somehow Harman neutral-ish with added treble, maybe. But there's a definitely different pin again, where the more focus is around 2K, while the Harman neutral also diffuse field is more around the 3K. Okay, let's compare them. This is the black monitor, which is for me the most balanced ones. And when you turn on this pop switch, you'll get more V-shaped sounding IM, but for me it's still quite balanced. And this is how is it compared to the gold pop. So yeah, the pop ones always give lag frequency around this mid-range area and giving it more V-shaped-ish sound no matter what filter you try. And this is how is it compared to the gold monitor one. So gold monitor and black monitor is actually quite similar, but the gold monitor has less aggressive upper mid-range and giving it more sweet and also warm sound. And this is how the red monitor one's shown. For me, this is the most neutral one, but be careful because it gets a little bit sharp sometimes. And this is how the red pop shown. Again, the pop one always gives a V-shaped-ish sound signature to it. And this is the, again, I always use the black monitor as my base point because it's the most balanced one for me. The blue monitor ones gives more upper mid-range, and somehow this is too much for me. It gets a little bit too bright and a little bit too shouty, and the blue pop makes it worse. it's so V-shaped that sometimes I couldn't help but the contrast between the lower and upper mid-range is so noticeable that makes male vocal sounds thin. And the blue also silver monitor is actually similar. Let me return to the blue monitor. This is the blue monitor with this upper mid-range, and also this is the silver monitor. You can see that it's actually really similar. They are both the brightest in this series, and let me show you that the silver pop and also blue pop, again, it actually has similar sounding mid-range around this part. It makes this whole sounds more V-shaped and also much more unbalanced for me. So I don't really like blue or silver, but I should say that my favorite is the black monitor or the gold monitor. Now it's quite tricky to say about this IM sound because of its tunings. You can literally get 10 kind of tunings, but I have to say that no matter what kind of tunings you choose, whether it's monitor or pop or whichever color you choose, you will always feel that it has this house sound of V-shaped tuning, or maybe mild V-shape, or maybe aggressive V-shape. But nevertheless, you will always, it's somehow V-shaped-ish. Thanks to its punchy bass and also energetic treble, you don't really change that with the tuning, but you really change a lot in the mid-range session. So before I'm talking about the mid-range, I need to talk about the bass. And this is a very versatile bass. No matter what kind of filter you put at it, it will always be a punchy bass and also can dig deep and will suit for a lot of music, a lot of genre, and it also has quite good fast speed. So even though you like rock music that requires double pedal, for me it can handle that. And now let's talk about the more complicated ones, the mid-range, which you can you can always change using this switch or using these filters. I wanna talk about the filter, the switch first. I always like the monitor switch better because simply, as you have seen through the frequency response, that somehow the pop switch, no matter what kind of filter, it always gives more V-shaped-ish kind of tuning. It somehow scoop a little bit of the lower mid-range, making it more contrast between the bass and also the upper mid-range notes. So for me, even though it is written pop, for me it is simply more V-shape using the pop switch, while the monitor one is more neutral. It has better body in the lower mid-range. And also talking about the filters, for me the most versatile one is the black, because no matter what kind of song I throw at them, it can always give this good sensation. It has a really good balance tonality between male and female vocals. You can throw rock at it, or maybe jazz, or even Idofel jazzy tracks like Dana Krall or Olivia Ong, or maybe even rock like One OK Rock, or maybe the My Chemical Romance, even Il Divo or maybe Josh Groban will sound good at it. But if you want more thick vocal, if you want more sweetness in your vocal, pick the gold one. While the other ones, I should say that they are more specialized ones. But the red one is the most neutral of them all. But I have to say that it comes with some harshness in the upper mid-range and treble area when I switch them from the black or gold to the red area. And from red area, when you change them again to the blue or silver, it gets brighter. To the point, for me, it's borderline harsh, so I don't really recommend them to you. But if you maybe a hardcore rock fans, maybe you will like these three. But for me, because I love vocals, I love a lot of genre, for me the most suitable ones are the black or the gold. If you like the warmer one, you should pick gold. And then talking about the treble, thanks to its piezoelectric sound driver, actually I don't really hear, even if okay, sorry, if I don't know that it's using piezoelectric driver, for me they sounds like balancer mature. It just have quite good energy on the upper notes, but it's not really extended or airy. It's just quite forward and really nice with a lot of details. But yeah, like I said, I don't really hear the piezoelectric driver there. And then talking about the technicalities, I should say at this similar price point, I have heard a lot of really great IMs such as the Moondrop Blessing 2 or the 4 Acoustic 4P, and for me they are all in the same level. So yeah, it has really good separation level and also really good soundstage. It has this 3D soundstage with a good lot of depth. So if you play live music, if you play orchestral music, you can definitely separate the elements from the music and also gives this wow effect thanks to its soundstage. So for me, it is really a really good IM with a lot of tunings and with great technicalities. So I'm quite surprised that I have never heard of them at this stage. But yeah, for me they are really excellent, and I have compared them first to the Moondrop Oxygen. For me, Moondrop Oxygen, I really like it thanks to its very natural timbre and also really smooth and clean vocal for this Tanchim Oxygen, and that's what makes them special compared to the LZ-A7. They will always sound cleaner and somehow more natural, also more coherent. Yes, they are using only a single dynamic driver, but the LZ-A7, it's definitely clearer and also have better imaging and separation level. So if you want the more natural tone, for me Oxygen is still have that mojo that could gives you this more natural sensation, but the LZ-A7 giving more fun and also giving more technical level. Now for the comparison at similar price point, for me the Moondrop Blessing 2 is the most hyped one, the most well-known IM at this price point, and usually considered as one of the best at its price. And I agree with that. The Blessing 2 is really a benchmark IM, and even compared to the Blessing 2, for me this LZ-A7 is still a really good IM, especially in terms of technicalities. For me they are simply on the same level with some difference here and there, but the thing that I like the most about this LZ-A7 compared to the Blessing is the fitting. For me, the fit for this LZ-A7 is simply better for my small Asian ears, while this Blessing 2 is still a little bit bothers me when I'm using them for hours thanks to its weight and also its quite large nozzle. Okay, talking about the tonality, it's quite hard because as you know that LZ-A7 has literally 10 tunings for the tonality, but I should say that its weakness, it's not, no matter what kind of tonal I give it to this LZ-A7, I always feels that it's not as coherent sounding as this Blessing 2. So the Blessing 2 in terms of coherency for me has one of the best coherency when it comes to hybrid drivers. The bass and also the mid-range, it feels just connected. Well, it's a little bit different with this LZ-A7, while the most different part is usually somehow the treble when the piezoelectric strikes. I don't know, it just feels a little bit different. It sounds more shimmering up there and so somehow more sparkle than all of the frequencies somehow. So yeah, when it comes to coherency alone, I picked the Blessing 2 better than this LZ-A7, but for overall performance, somehow I still picked this LZ-A7 better thanks to its more versatile tuning. You can literally pick 10 tunings, 10 tunings, and for me, the closest one to this Blessing 2 is using the monitor and also using the gold filter. It somehow feels like a more warm Blessing 2, but with more treble extension. So in the end, for me, this is a really strange finding, but really interesting IM. At its price point, you get 10 tunings, and I should say that some of them are really good, and it also have pretty solid technicality. So for LZ-A7, even though it is not hype, even though it is not really well known, for me this is a really good IM. It has good fit, it has good tunings that you can try yourself, and also it has good technicalities. If you are a collector for such unique item, I bet this is supposed to be one of your choices. Okay, I think that's all. If you have any question, please write down in the comment below and see you next time.